All right. Let's moving on to the back page. If a figure is a square, then it is a rhombus. We need to decide if that's true or false. This is referencing that Euler diagram that we had done. So let's just kind of draw just a little rough version of it, the part that's really going to help us. The box represented all parallelograms. Inside that, we had two circles, one for rectangles, one for rhombuses, and where they overlapped was squares. Okay, so if a figure is a square, then it is a rhombus. Let's imagine here, we're going to do this one in green. So let's put a little X here. It's a square. This is inside the rhombus. Everywhere I could mark inside the square is inside the rhombus, so that would be true. All right, let's do another one. If a figure is a parallelogram, then it cannot be a rectangle. Okay, well, if a figure is a parallelogram, is anything inside this box. So anything inside this box is a parallelogram. It could be a rectangle, it could be a square, it could be a rhombus. I could put the X anywhere. So if I put my X right there, that shows that this statement is false. It's a parallelogram, and it is also a rectangle. All right, moving on to number 8. We need to use those parallel line angles that we talked about. So here they have told us that angle 2 is 4x plus 87, 4x plus 87. And they've told us that angle 6 is 5x plus 79, 5x plus 79. All right, we should remember that 2 and 6 are actually congruent because they're corresponding angles. That's the reason that they're congruent. So if they're congruent, it means that 4x plus 87 equals 5x plus 79. So I'm going to go ahead and just solve this little algebraic expression. Subtract 4x. We've got 87 equals x plus 79 minus 79. That should be 79 minus 79 from 87. If I take 79 away from 87, I get that x equals 8. All right, I can now use this. I can plug it back in. I guess they only asked me for x, so technically I'm done. I like to make sure that it actually works. So the measure angle 2 should be 4 times this 8 plus 87. 4 times 8 is 32 plus 87. So that looks like it should be 110, 119. 119 degrees. All right, if I want to just double check it, measure of angle 6 should be 5 times 8 plus 79. 5 times 8 is 40 plus 79, and that also is 119. So it definitely works for both. All right, number 9, we want to find the values of x and y that make the two lines parallel. Okay, if these two lines are parallel, then these angles should be congruent because they are corresponding angles. So 5x minus 29 should equal 2x plus 43. That would be corresponding angles, and corresponding angles will be congruent if the lines are parallel. Let's just solve this. I'm going to add 29 to both sides. I'm also going to subtract 2x from both sides. 5x minus 2x is 3x. The 29s have gone away. 2x minus 2x, they've gone away. 43 plus 29 is 72. Divide both sides by 3, and we get that x is 24. So if x equals 24, then these two lines will be parallel. All right. Now that we know that x is 24, we can actually go ahead and plug it in here. So we've got 5 times 24 minus 29. Okay, 5 times 25 would be 125, but this is 5 times 24, so this is 120. Minus 29, so that would be 91. 91 degrees will equal 3y plus 8 because they're a pair of vertical angles, so these should be congruent as well. So 3y plus 8 should equal 91 degrees. 3y should equal, I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides. If I subtract 8 from there, I am looking at 83. Divide both sides by 3. And I believe that's a fraction, so I'm just going to leave it as 83 thirds. All right, last but not least, we have a problem here where we are asked to justify why certain things are true. And here we're really asking you, what types of angles are they? So 8 and 10. Why are 8 and 10 congruent? Because they are alternate interior angles. That's an alternate interior angle theorem. How about 14 and 12? 14 and 12, they are vertical angles. That is the vertical angle theorem. Why are 10 and 15, why do they add up to 180 degrees? They are a linear pair. They make a line. Why is 1 and 9 congruent? They are a pair of corresponding angles. Corresponding angle postulate. All right, why are 2 and 3 congruent? Why are 2 and 3 equal to 180 degrees? That is the same side interior angle theorem. And why are 3 and 13 congruent? Those are alternate exterior angles. So that's the alternate exterior angle theorem. All right. You will have something like numbers 18 to 21 on your quiz tomorrow. It's a little bit of a proof. So let's look. We are given that these lines are parallel, and we want to prove that 4 is congruent to 16. So why are they parallel? Because that's given to us. Why is 4 congruent to 14? So why are 4 and 14 congruent? Because of the alternate exterior angle theorem. Why is 14 congruent to 16? Because they are a pair of corresponding angle theorem. They're a pair of corresponding angles. So let's look at these two. What's happened here is this one ended in 14, this one began in 14. It's almost like we can cross them out. We can set them now equal to each other by the transitive property. All right, guys, good luck studying.